What's going on, everybody? I know it's been a minute since I did one of these type of videos, but I don't even want to waste any time. I want to get straight into the real reason I quit football and everything. And in this video, I want to answer the question, do I regret it? Because that's something that I get a lot of questions about, especially during this time with spring ball going on and off-season training, and just the season is about to pick back up and ramp back up. So everybody wants to know, do I miss it? And the short answer is absolutely not, but we will get into that later in the video, just because football, it's a lot of things that I hope to shed light on in this video. That's all I'm going to say about that. Please check out the rest of the channel if you haven't already, just because I do want to give a little background as far as where I am now. And before I even get into that, please like and comment and subscribe real quick, just because y'all got to think that takes y'all 2 seconds, and it's an easy way to support my channel for the long run. And I know a lot of y'all have been rocking with me since I started posting 2-3 months ago. So if y'all really want to see me invest into this heavily and really spend my time into this, please just give a quick like. So without further ado, we'll get into the video for real. So as far as the real reason I quit football, like I said, for a little background information, if you're new to the channel, this is my 3rd year. So I do have 2 years of eligibility left. I redshirted my freshman year. So technically I still have 2 more years, but I was a preferred walk-on at Georgia Tech. And I never played. In fact, I never dressed a home game, and I never traveled. You know what I'm saying? So I went to the bowl games. I did go to Ireland, but as far as home games and stuff, I never really was just. So that's red flag number 1. You know what I'm saying? If you're watching this and you're a preferred walk-on, you go to the school, there are a lot. I remember when I was a preferred walk-on, or deciding if I wanted to be a preferred walk-on, a lot of the videos I was watching, they were all very, very, very encouraging to the walk-on life, just telling people, you are treated the same, you do have a chance to make it. A ton of people have made it before. You wouldn't be an anomaly and all that. So I just want to shed some light and be true to y'all and say that yes, that is possible. I've seen a ton of walk-ons who have played. I've seen a ton of walk-ons who have made it. But it is a lot different, especially in today's time with NIL, just because, you know what I'm saying, these coaches are playing, and I've said this ton times in my videos, but these coaches are paying these players so-and-so amount of money, $500K plus to, play your position. You're paying to go to the school. You just got to think business. What are you getting the best return on investment? Because you are investing $500,000 into somebody, and they're just sitting on the bench. You know what I'm saying? Not only is the coach mad, but then, whoever is above them, the athletic directors, the boosters, the financial people, they're all mad because this player isn't playing. So it was just a really tough dynamic for somebody like myself, who was already an underdog. And, the biggest thing that I want to get into is just, I think football is one of those things you even have, especially it's everywhere, but especially once you get to the Power 4 level, ACC and all that. Football is one of those things you either have a passion for or you don't. I really don't think it's a gray area. I don't think there's a fine line that you can try to play it, because I know in my situation, it really just got to the point in college where I realized how not necessarily difficult it was, but it really opened my eyes to how competitive it was. You really get to this scene, especially these days, because everybody wants the NIL, everybody wants that money. So, the people who used to be on the fence about playing college football before because they didn't think they had a shot at going to the NFL, they're now playing college football because they know they have a pretty good shot at college football, and the people are getting paid there. So now everybody in the country is just, locking in on this thing. And I was already kind of undersized for my position. That's another thing. And please don't make this video seem like this is just me complaining and making excuses for why I didn't touch the field, because that's not at all the case. I admit I could have put a little more effort into it, but as I'm trying to get to with this point right here specifically, it's just that being in the position I was, it's just I wasn't really naturally interested in grinding as hard as I would have to see the field. I'm gonna be honest, because you really have to and there's people in my position at my school, at other schools and other things that I've talked to, who they have, with balls in the wall, they just really have grinded. They have just put all their eggs into the basket, and to still come up short of that advantage, of that threshold, just because it is so highly competitive right now. That would really rub me the wrong way, just because I am somebody who I love to put my effort into things now that will build to the future. That's why I am putting so much time into this channel and the podcast. Go ahead and subscribe to the podcast channel if you're new. I interview a ton of Georgia Tech people. It's just not just players, it's a ton of Georgia Tech football players, so y'all might like that. I'll go and put it up in one of these corners, I don't know. But y'all should like I interview players, I interview Georgia Tech students. I want to get to the point where I'm interviewing faculty and staff. So really subscribe to the podcast. It's going to be a future because one thing that and this kind of adds to the point of why I quit football and all the real reason. And don't worry, I'll get into exposing it a little bit later in the video. But this adds to the point of why I quit. But it's just like I got to a point where I realized that Georgia Tech is such a wonderful school outside of the field. Like Georgia Tech is a wonderful school academically. It has a great place for networking. It has a great place for entrepreneurship. You know, you're just around so many somewhat like-minded people. But that's the thing, because they're not so like-minded. You know, you can really get together and build. So every student that I talk, I try to be as conversive as possible, or what's the word? Convasive. I don't know, conversational, I don't know, as possible. So, I mean, if you're a student and you watching this, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Don't hesitate to DM me. And to that point, leave y'all's questions in the comments. I want to get to the point where, like, I can really be an inside exclusive source of information for y'all. Y'all aren't taking advantage of I am a Georgia Tech, or I was a Georgia Tech player who played there for 3 years, saw the whole shebang of college grow from, no NIL, no transfer portal to what it is now. And I'm willing to answer questions, but y'all don't want to be answering. So, I mean, go ahead, drop y'all's questions in the comments. I want to get to the point where I can do a full Q&A. So if y'all drop y'all's questions in the comments and it doesn't get answered, chances are it's in the Q&A. So y'all might as well just go ahead and shoot questions. But so the next thing I want to talk about is the detrimental effects that it had, kind of mentally. And I don't want to just be out here and making it seem like it was terrible mentally, but I mean, it definitely had its effects on me mentally outside of football. So the first thing is just, it was real hard to focus in class, honestly, especially when it got to the point where football became really frustrating, because a lot of people don't realize that there was a time that I really was, like my sophomore year, fall camp, spring ball, that era, there was a time I really was putting in a lot of effort to football. And like I mentioned earlier, just because, I was in a different position and everything, because I wasn't getting results or even just the signs of results, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was a lot of times where I go to practice and I'm a second year sophomore who understood the process, and I really knew the playbook, and I wasn't even getting a chance to be on the depth chart just because I was a walk-on. It was things like that really affected me mentally, just because, like, why am I putting in all this effort? And then it's a constant thing because you're thinking about it all day. You're already fatigued because you had a long practice, and then it gets to a point where it's like, it graduates from you just talking about it and being mad and feeling bad about yourself. You just get to a point where you're mad, and that's just how we are as humans. So I was just be sitting in class just mad. I'm like, man, why am I investing so much time? Why am I waking up at such and such time doing all this to not even be on the depth chart for real? To not even start with a chance. So that is the thing that was really frustrating for me, and that's something that I don't think y'all realize about preferred walk-ons is a lot of the times is like, or not even a lot of the times, I'd be willing to say all the times as far as country, the scholarship freshmen automatically get right above the preferred walk-on. So, it is just a real frustrating dynamic, but like I said, I understand the business behind it. And then, you want to add to that. So not only am I in class not playing, but like, when people ask, are you playing? Am I going to see you on Sunday? You going to be all that? Me internally knowing that I won't even be wearing pads probably, I have to sit here and, I got to the point where I was just honest and truthful about it. But I know a ton of my friends and a ton of the people in my circle, it really affected them, because that's something to deal with. Like, think about somebody you got your eye on asking, hey, you gonna play or whatever, and you be like, nah, to be honest, I don't think I'll ever play here. And like, that's just strictly how it'd be, because like, if you look at the forecast, you look at the position I was, it was pretty clear that like there really wasn't money intentions for me in the future. So it really got to a point where I was kind of just out there, dare I say it, for lack of better terms, being a practice dummy. Like, if I'm really being honest with y'all, and I'm just being straight up me to y'all, transparent talk, I was literally just becoming a practice dummy. And again, I'm paying for school, I'm doing the same amount of work, I'm doing the same amount of exercises, I'm doing the same amount of practices, I'm doing the whole shebang, doing the whole full spill. The only difference between me and most players on the team, because there was 115 players on the team, 85 are on full scholarship, leaving 30 walk-on. So me and the other 30 walk-ons typically, and don't get me wrong, some of the walk-ons, they really earned their way, they grinded their way out of it, and nothing but tremendous respect to them, because I understand that is a very difficult thing, because not only is it like a grinding thing, but it's a patience thing, because you never know when your opportunity comes. There's a lot of times the opportunity doesn't come, but you just have to consistently be ready for when the opportunity does come. So shout out to all those walk-on who did really graduate and elevate from this level. But as far as us, We doing the same work, same practices, all that, except we don't get to dress on Saturday, we don't get to travel with the team to away games, and we're not playing, and we're not getting paid. So you know what I'm saying? It really just got to a point where it was like, is this making sense? Especially because I don't think y'all are grasping, and I say it time and time again, and I will say it till, I can't anymore. But the biggest problem that I had, well, maybe the second biggest, I'll get into the biggest in a little bit, but second biggest problem that I had was how time consuming it was. And not even just how time consuming it was just for being there, it's how time consuming it was for, in the moment, not seeing a true benefit. Like, it's not like I could look forward to the weekends to when I was playing in the games. It's not like could look forward to the check that I was getting. It's not like I could look forward to, the clout or the fame that everybody thinks that automatically every football player has. And, don't get me wrong, there is a little bit of that. You do get this sense of respect from your peers where everybody recognizes you as a football player. But I mean, other than that, like, we're talking how long? 45, 50-hour weeks of just grinding, meetings, lunch checks, dinner checks, class checks, that with football, especially at Tech, they're very hard on academics. They want to make sure you have all your assignments in, you're going to every class. So, I have this extra responsibility level just for, like I said, I couldn't really, especially in the moment, see a true reason, see a true benefit for it. So it just made it real difficult. I'm going to be honest. But as far as the biggest thing that I didn't like, and the biggest thing that is really the reason that I don't regret quitting and I don't regret my decision, is I did not like how I was quite literally forced to be obese. Like, I quite literally was paying money to be overweight. And so I had to hover around 290, 295. I think my goal all the time was like 295 pounds. And, once the season ended, I quickly, here it is, March. The season ended late November, and I'm already 251 pounds. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it really did bother me because it was every day. This wasn't one of those things where I would just wake up and wish I could lose weight. It wasn't one of those things where it was gradual or, you know what I'm saying? I just had the first step and I was like, I'll just lose as much weight as I can. No, this was something that was premeditated, pre-planned, and something I had been wanting to do for the longest. Really since high school. I could really say junior, senior year in high school. I kind of just looked at myself in the mirror and got tired of having all that extra weight on me. But it was something that I was stuck with just because, every time I tried to lose it, I would even try to talk to my nutritionist. I would be like, can I drop down to 270 pounds and cut it back up, and both good. And, sometimes I would get the okay from her. If I got the okay from her, it was a no from coach. If it was okay from coach, it was a no from, whoever, man. But essentially, I could not stand being overweight, bro. It really did bother me, and I'm so happy that I can finally lose all this weight and continue to go with it. This is just a start. I just feel so much better as a person. I'm healthier. I don't have as much pain. My stamina's good. Like, I can walk up hills and stuff without getting tired. And honestly, I just love it. And to that point, is my body feels good, man. Especially because I was a defensive tackle, because I was somebody in the trenches. I was constantly having to deal with double teams. And football is one of those things where it's not about avoiding the injury. It's just preparing for and reacting to injury, because those little hurts, they're going to come regardless throughout the physicality of a fall camp, throughout the physicality of spring ball, and don't even get me started throughout the physicality of the season. You know what I'm saying? That's something I didn't have to deal with as much, but for the players who did it, I can only imagine. Like, y'all don't even think about, y'all don't even realize how many players are getting surgeries at the end of the season of stuff that they didn't even realize was hurt, or stuff that they knew was hurt but wanted to thug it out for the rest of the season. It's all y'all, like, that's why y'all probably see a ton of players right now that be in slings and be in all this stuff. That's not like it's happening in off-season workouts. It's just stuff that you put aside towards the end of the season, and that's just stuff that like I said, because I wasn't seeing the field, because it wasn't any clear, true, transparent benefit. And I'm not the person, like, I am huge on grinding in silence, seeing results later, but just because it quite literally did not make sense to me, again, because this is such a competitive aspect now, bro. Like, it used to be something when there was only a select few people who were interested in football, but now everybody wants to play football. And I always loved it. I always, you know, really messed with it, but I never quite. And like the more I think about it now, and the more I look back into like moments in high school and everything, I never really had that true deep passion for football. So that's all I want to say, man. If you don't think you have that true deep passion for football, it's going to be very hard to try to make it at any level. But like I said, specifically this Power 4 level, and that's just what I really wanted to leave y'all with, because I think that's what it came down to, man. It was just, I was really just set up from the start just because, you know, I'm expecting myself to do something that is very difficult, very tough, but I really wasn't, you know, all into it. I really wasn't completely bought into it. So it just, like I said, it just made it real difficult, man. But hopefully y'all learned a lot from this video. Like I said, I gotta stop saying like I said, but I really want to get to y'all's questions. I really want to do a Q&A. So drop y'all's questions. Let me know anything y'all want to know. And as always, I appreciate it, but be good, be blessed. Peace.